Welcome to The Nation. I'm Jessie Chahal. Now, women can play a vital role in promoting the use of palm oil in the country. After all, they are at the forefront of making the right decisions on the consumption of food at home. So which cooking oil should families use? Are they aware of the many benefits of palm oil, or are they being influenced by negative campaigns against Malaysia's golden crop? For more on today's topic on using soft power to embrace palm oil, we have in the studio Ms.Andal Krishnan, Head of Special Projects from NAWEM, or the National Association of Women Entrepreneurs of Malaysia. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with us. And I really like this topic because we've taken something that predominantly doesn't involve women, but at the same time, it does. Tell us about this irony.
Yes, because at the end of the day, who do you think make the choice for the family in terms of what kind of oil that they should cook in? And we realized that it is the women who are doing it. And you're right, in this industry, definitely there are less women who are making the decisions. So NAWEM, which is the National Association of Women Entrepreneurs, we decided that it's about time we did something, because we were really pained by all the negative sentiments about this oil.
Pained? Why pained?
Pained because it's not true. To start with, it's not true. And I have a personal agenda because I've lived in the oil palm estates, and my husband is in the palm oil industry, and there's absolutely nothing negative. All the things that have been said has not really been verified. So since I'm part of NAWEM, I managed to convince my board that look, we got to do something about this, and the rest is history.
Right.
We spoke to the ministry and they're pretty happy. And because we really went on this path that let's talk about the food part of palm oil. There's too much of noise about all the other things, and people forget we need to find the people who are going to embrace it, and the other women.
All right, so the country has been a palm oil producing nation for a long time.
Of course.
Somewhere, somehow, it got a bad name.
Yes.
What happened there, really?
Very, very good question. I still think it's the internet. There's so much information is readily available. Palm oil it's like the good boy. He's always been good. Or she has always been good. And then along the way, there were a lot of other reasons. And one of the things, and I don't want to delve on that because that's a topic by itself, is the so-called sustainability. And there were, well, rightly or wrongly, I don't know, but there was information that, when you grow oil palm and then get palm oil, is it sustainable?
But surely that's an important question to ask as well.
That is, and we're going to take it that it's granted. Every drop of oil that you produce that goes into the supermarket or that's bought by women has to be sustainable.
Okay.
What I mean is that's a big topic. We take that premise that it's already sustainable.
Okay.
But the next stage is, when it's sustainable, why does it still get demonized as saying that it's not good for your health and this and that? And
Yeah,
that's the
because
part we want to come in.
it's not good for your heart, for your overall consumption, that other oils like the extra virgin olive oil or other oils within that category are better.
Well, frankly, I don't want to touch on the other oils because I don't know enough about it, but I do know enough about palm oil. In the first place, the health benefits of palm oil are immense. Let me just give you a couple of them. One is this whole thing about saturated oils has now become defunct, not just for palm oil, even for coconut oil. That's why it has kind of become fashionable to take coconut oil.
Absolutely.
So they have realized that, they have been barking up the wrong tree. Then comes the palm oil for Asian cooking. Palm oil is the best because it is very stable at a high temperature, and we fry a lot. And if you just try frying in one of those oils, I'll tell you, the kind of results you get, you will not be happy in terms of the pots and pans, in terms of the quality of the oil. Because in palm oil, it has got vitamin E, it's got vitamin A, it keeps the stability of the oil. And even though it is really, the temperature is high, you still get the goodness of the oil on the food. And now, of course, we have this beautiful red oil. And that red oil, can really substitute all the other so-called boutique oils, because the red oil is very good for salads and for sauteing.
Cooked and uncooked, so to say.
Well, you can. Some will take it just like that.
Right.
Cooked and uncooked, yeah.
That's interesting. When you go off to the supermarkets on the shelves, you're looking at these different kinds of oils, and there's so many options. And for a long time, you know, you walk past the palm oil to the more, as you said, fashionable oils, coconut oil, virgin olive oil, and all of that. But what you're saying is in Asian cooking, palm oil is perhaps a better option. That aside though, what about the health benefits?
Yes, I just mentioned to you, vitamin E is so rich in vitamin E. Of course, they extract it out and give it to you as capsules as well. But even in the oil itself, the vitamin E is something that's extremely good for your health, vitamin A. And it even reduces cholesterol. So you've got all these good benefits in one oil. And why wouldn't you want to take it and give it to your family?
Absolutely. We'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, more on palm oil here in Malaysia, but particularly using soft power to embrace palm oil. Don't go anywhere.
Fokus utama Bernama Radio menyediakan informasi untuk usahawan kecil dan sederhana. Ada hampir 6 juta capaian Bernama Radio mengikuti pelbagai program melalui pelbagai platform. Mahu mendekati pelanggan dan pasaran anda? Hubungi kami di talian 03 2050 4436 atau 012 568 3525. Bernama Radio, stesen berita bisnes anda.
Waspada dalam talian. Sedar akan status sosial dan tingkatkan tahap keselamatan peranti anda. Aktifkan kata kunci bagi menjawab dan melindungi nombor PIN anda. Jangan buka mesej daripada orang yang tidak dikenali. Amalkan sikap berhati-hati. Lindungi diri anda, keluarga dan mereka yang anda sayangi. Keselamatan anda, tanggungjawab bersama.
Hello, saya membuat panggilan daripada mahkamah. Hasil semakan daripada pihak kami terdapat pertuduhan atas nama anda. Anda perlu selesaikan hutang yang tertunggak untuk mengelakkan nama daripada disenarai hitamkan. Anda perlu masukkan duit ke dalam akaun yang saya bagi tadi itu. Ya, hari ini. Okey, terima kasih.
Jangan berkongsi sebarang maklumat peribadi dan perbankan anda. Jangan mudah panik. Tamatkan talian jika terdapat keraguan.
Welcome back, you're watching The Nation. Now, the National Association of Women Entrepreneurs of Malaysia, or NAWEM, and the women leaders of the palm oil industry are undertaking a project to promote the quintessential qualities of palm oil. Now, Mrs. Krishnan, of course, joins us today. We want to talk about, soft power embracing palm oil. And so NAWEM has come forward to use that soft power to speak to other women about the goodness of sustainable palm oil. I understand that this has become a project for the association, a project that you call I Love My Palm Oil. To tell us more about this.
Yes, I Love My Palm Oil is a government campaign. Yes, we are, of course, part of that, but we have also a special logo. It's called the Golden Food, because we want to concentrate on the food aspects of it, as I mentioned earlier, because there's so much information, so much noise about palm oil. And like I said, I'm afraid people are, getting not enough information about the goodness of it for themselves. So we are doing what we call precision marketing, targeting women, and we do that. Like last week, we had a high tea for the T20 women. Because we feel that those are the women who would fashionably say, I don't use palm oil. And we want to convert them by telling them that, look, you don't know what you're missing. So that's how we are going to do it, is doing the targeted marketing. So we are going to come up with a focus group discussion, giving them information about it, getting them to eat the food, and they will become our ambassadors. We are going to work with food bloggers. Again, the same thing, giving them information about palm oil, at the same time getting them to eat that, and then they will tell other people, because not enough people are talking about palm oil. In fact, people have been thinking that palm oil is almost meant for only people who can't afford it, a better oil. That's the impression they were getting.
So you're saying it's down to perhaps just sort of bad marketing over the years?
I wouldn't want to call it bad marketing, but definitely misinformation. I would call it that. If they have really known the quality of it, like I was talking to you during break time, palm oil even has CoQ10, CoQ enzymes, an oil that has got all these things.
Right.
Why would you say no? But how many people out there know this?
Right.
So,
but talking about this sort of disinformation as well, it'll be important to also reach out to the B40 group and the
Yes.
M40.
Yes.
What are some of the strategies there?
the B40 group, because the oil is already subsidized to some level,
Yeah.
it is affordable, and they are buying it. And they actually don't ask questions because it is affordable, but they're probably getting the best. But when you come up to M40, for want of a better way of categorizing people, then you are reading and you're listening to things, and sometimes you're not fully informed. And there is when we need to tell them, look, what you hear is only half the truth, or what you hear is not really true. What you're hearing about what's happening in Europe, it's taken out of context. So this is the information. If you're making a choice regarding food, please bear in mind these are the qualities in the oil. And if you're doing deep frying and you're doing Asian cooking, then please use that. That's the kind of marketing we want to do. And imagine in Malaysia, all the households use palm oil and red oil.
Okay. Why the interest in promoting palm oil? Whether it's part of the association or on a personal level,
Yes.
because you are very passionate about this.
Yes, I am. I am very passionate. I think I mentioned earlier, I've lived in oil palm estates, and my family has been part of palm oil. But more than that, because I've consumed it, and I love cooking, I've consumed it, and I'm quite outraged by when I see something like this. And women, and it's not just me, many women, especially the palm oil women leaders, we call them women leaders, they've all come together and said, let's have a mouthpiece. And NAWEM, being a women organization, a very dynamic organization, can kind of get all the people together and become the mouthpiece. And we can do projects. But at this point, I must tell you that the support we've got from the palm oil industry has been immense. They're probably thinking, we never thought about that.
Right, isn't it? Seems to be a gap there.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they're so pleased with that.
What has been some of the feedback, and who have been some of the industry players that have come forward so supportively?
Almost all of them we've called. And of course, not to forget that we have some of the directors, women directors, who are part of that. They have used their soft power to go to that. And MPOC has been extremely helpful, and they've been very generous. And we have just, for the high tea, we made 4,000 cookies and cakes to give out to the
With palm
to
oil.
people with palm oil, and they said, "Gosh, this is just absolutely delicious." And so we've had support all the way. I think what we have done, if I may say so, is we have organized it properly. We have been very good at putting it step by step. And this is not all over. We got in 2020, we have an agenda as well. We want to get to all these 5-star hotels that are saying we don't use palm oil, and they do. They actually use it.
Okay.
And
So here's the thing. 5-star hotels, T20 women, you want to break into that bracket
Yeah.
of explaining to them and getting their buy-in
Yes.
to use palm oil as well.
Yes.
Why do you think women in these higher income brackets don't or have not been consuming palm oil
Yes.
so blatantly. Yeah.
Yes, because I think there's been a lot of negative information from the United States and from Europe, and that's really affected.
But these
it all.
women are local.
They are local, but like I said, probably it's fashionable, and so their kids go to international schools, and then they get the wrong information. It's just really like I have to go back to that misinformed. That's about it.
Right. What about young women? Because they are, of course,
Yes.
concerned about health, skin, beauty,
Yes, absolutely.
weight, and how
Weight.
would you approach them?
Yes, like the keto diet is a high-fat diet.
Right.
Just go into palm oil. You don't have to take any other fat, just take palm oil. But we have had some very good results, empirical evidence from nutritionists and doctors who have been promoting this for their clients, and they have got all the data, and they have come on board as well and saying, we tell them take palm oil or palm kernel oil with your diet for the keto diet and the intermittent fasting, whatever you have right now.
I have been in rooms with doctors who have suggested coconut oil
Yes.
or olive oil.
Yes.
So shouldn't we also start from
They
that
should.
point of view,
That
from a
should.
domestic and health perspective?
Yes, these doctors need to come to our program. But I must
Right.
tell you, MMA, the Malaysian Medical Association, is 100% behind our initiative, and they've told us categorically they want to be part of this.
All right. There's a lot of campaign against palm oil, especially in the EU. What's your opinion on that?
Yes, as I said to you, the campaign is very diverse. It's about biofuel and about sustainability. So those are very important, but that's not within our agenda. So I don't really want to. I've got my personal opinion about that.
Okay.
But we'll just leave that to it. But we want to make sure that those things are also done properly. And I think the government is doing a lot for that. And there are lots of restrictions, and each palm oil company has to follow those. And they can't sell it unless they do it. So I think that all those are in place.
Yeah.
And eventually, I'm sure that we will be totally sustainable.
All right. Do you know sometimes when we go to the store to buy something and you look behind, whether it's a drink packet or biscuit packet, and it'll say no palm oil.
I know. It's terrible. And Malaysian companies do that
Yeah.
too. That's right. Now you know why I'm so outraged. Yes, those things will go away. The more people understand, they'll realize that they're doing themselves a disservice by putting that, and they'll probably remove that. I know local companies who are using palm oil because they're selling it to Europe. They will not say there's palm oil. Yes, these are things we need to address, and this is where once we start converting our local people, our locals, to use palm oil, and eventually these are manufacturers that are manufacturing in Malaysia, they, I think, will understand.
I also think maybe one good starting point would be having more stats and facts
Yes.
about the usage and benefits
Yes.
of palm oil. We take a quick commercial break. We'll be back shortly to wrap up our discussion right here on using soft power for palm oil.
Ni Raza. Kenapa dia sedih sangat? Macam ni. Semalam dia dapat satu mesej. Mesej tu kata dia dah menang duit yang banyak. Untuk tebus hadiah tu, Razak kena pindahkan sejumlah duit dulu melalui link yang terdapat dalam mesej tu. Seronok betul, Razak. Sampai tak sedar yang link tu bawa dia ke laman web palsu. Tanpa fikir panjang, dia terus log in ke laman web tu. Tak periksa pun laman web tu betul ke tidak. Tiba-tiba, Razak dapat satu mesej daripada pihak bank. Rupa-rupanya, dia dah pindahkan sejumlah duit yang banyak kepada akaun yang tak dikenali. Dia cepat-cepat telefon bank untuk kepastian. Dia diberitahu yang dia mungkin dah jadi mangsa penipuan perbankan internet.
Welcome back to The Nation. I'm speaking to Ms.Andal Krishnan, Head of Special Projects at NAWEM, or the National Association of Women Entrepreneurs of Malaysia. And in line with their campaign, I Love My Palm Oil campaign, which of course is an attempt or an initiative driven by the association to promote love for palm oil and more consumption starting at home.
Yes.
Also, before the break, we spoke about how some items that you pick up have this label at the back that says no palm oil, contains no palm oil. Similarly, on that note as well, there are some products that say it's 100% vegetable oil based, or this or that, but you say that it has palm oil contained. And so this raises the question yet again about the lack of education about the benefits of palm oil.
Well, let's go back to the fact that they say it's vegetable oil. That's because the manufacturers don't want to admit it's palm oil. It's not just that it contains palm oil, it is palm oil.
So manufacturers themselves,
yes, of course,
lack this kind of information, is what you're saying.
No.
They don't have the knowledge about how versatile and how beneficial palm oil is. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's because the market doesn't want to accept it when you say it's 100% palm oil. So they say it's vegetable oil, which technically is correct. But because the market is saying, if you put their palm oil, I may not buy it. So they put vegetable oil. The manufacturer knows very well what he's manufacturing and what he's putting into the bottle. They do know that. But it's because the market is not ready. So you're right, we have to inform the market, do better marketing, give those whatever information I just spoke to you, it has to be clearly stamped on it and what it does. So that's where we need to work on very, very hard.
Right. Besides targeting the T20 category
and the M40s
and the M40 and the B40 and going online, I guess, using social media, what are some of the other tools that NAWEM has planned, some strategy moving forward to drive this campaign into fruition?
Sure. So we're hoping next year what we'll do is we'll go to different states. We just don't want to be in the Klang Valley alone, and find stakeholders who will come on board and make this information available. First and foremost, the nutrients, the benefits for health, for their family, for their children, and for elderly people. For all those people, they have to know that they have to go and buy this oil. So we hope to work in every state. We want to find some stakeholders there to come and work with us and to get this information, because all it matters now is to go and say, I'm going to stop buying this oil, or I'll reduce that and I'll put palm oil.
How are you going to change the minds of millions of mothers who are so particular about what they cook at home for the health of their family, their husband and their children? How are you going to say, well, try palm oil now?
But because it's good. Exactly that. If you're so worried about the health of your husband and your children and your parents, then you must give them what's good. If you don't do that, then you are not really buying the right thing for them. But it is the gap in the information. That's what we need to work hard on and work with women and give them that information. And I think once you do that and you prove to them with, of course, lots of empirical evidence, working with doctors and nutritionists, and now it's very fashionable to have your doctors telling you what to eat and checking your weight. We need to work with those kind of people and finally giving them the information back to the public.
Right.
And I think we will get it.
Besides Malaysia, which other countries are having some sort of same initiative, or if not, which other countries around us also have the same perception that palm oil is bad? Would you know anything about that?
Well, I'm not so sure about the ASEAN countries other than Singapore. Singapore, unfortunately, has not been educated enough.
What about oil-producing nations like Indonesia?
Indonesia produces palm oil.
Yeah.
So they might be having the same problem with the higher income bracket people, because they can afford to buy more expensive oils. But I think by and large, it's not such a big issue there. And they have a huge population. So, if 3 million people don't buy it, it's not going to affect them.
Right.
But Malaysia is a much smaller population, so we need to worry about it.
Are you working in line with any ministry to drive this forward?
The Ministry of Primary Industries. Very happy to say that YB Teresa Kok is very happy and excited that we have this brigade of women could go and support her. Yes.
Yeah, and she being a female minister
female
as well.
herself.
That's
and,
right.
And like you asked me, who do I get support from? All of them. MPOB, MPOA. My organization is getting a lot of problems, the acronyms. MPOC, MPOB, MPOA, whole lot of them.
That's right.
Yeah, we've been very lucky.
Fantastic. So have you set a timeline? Do you think, we can see something in the next 6 months? You think there'll be a shift for, people going to shop and changing the kind of oils that they consume and buy?
Well, every time we do a program, we have a pre and post survey, and then we keep in touch with them as well. So we are measuring our initiative, and we hope to get the results. And for example, with the high tea, we did a survey before you walked into it, before you heard. We had Dr. Glenn Reynolds who told us, who put our mind at ease that we are sustainable. We have not destroyed all the pristine jungles, and that we are all right. Then we had a talk, so we asked them, what do you think about palm oil now?
Yeah, because I think that's an issue that needs to be, highlighted, especially for the youth. I think Gen Y, Gen Z are very predominantly interested to ensure if a particular product or service is sustainable, as we've seen pictures of deforestation, orang-utans losing places or their homes, so on and so forth. So in summary, more education, more awareness needs to be done, but nonetheless, what you're saying is palm oil is beneficial and safe for our health.
Definitely.
That's right.
Definitely.
Well, that's all the time we have on The Nation today. Thank you so much for coming. We wish you and NAWEM all the very best. And I really look forward to seeing, more awareness being raised on the benefits of palm oil.
We'll do our best.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bernama Radio menyediakan informasi untuk usahawan kecil dan sederhana. Ada hampir 6 juta capaian Bernama Radio mengikuti pelbagai program melalui pelbagai platform. Mahu mendekati pelanggan dan pasaran anda? Hubungi kami di talian 03 2050 4436 atau 012 568 3525.